story about me, give me a second while I was twisting up my tree. GB lanky like a tree, Hawaiian had a lot of OGs. A lot of jewels dropped on me, I knew I was a young king. Was young, lost my moms, I was in the darkest of spots. 40 Glock, anything moving, not realizing I was my only yogi. Granny passed right after, no one was there to pray that he stopped. No love.
We got Mexico in shambles. Cartel shooting everybody up. Tourist guests, get out of Mexico. Mexico cartel wars. Might want to go. Might want to get out of Dodge.
So everybody is being told to leave the area right now.
Gotta go. Get out of Mexico. Gotta go. Get out of Mexico.
These things are being cleared out. It's being roped off right now. Everybody vacate the area and leave immediately. You can
gotta go. Tourists, get out of Mexico.
Smoke in the sky. But we were...
Gotta go. Tourists, get out of Mexico.
We saw smoke everywhere. And we're being informed that there's major cartel violence happening right now all over Puerto Vallarta. Apparently, they've captured a top-ranking cartel member, and when that happens, all-out war happens. A number of cars have been set on fire, motorcycles set on fire. In fact, there were some attendees.
A big cartel boss has been caught. A big cartel boss has been caught.
Drivers are apparently targeted by the cartel. They were they had their car shot at. The taxi driver was murdered, and the car was set on fire. All of their luggage has been burnt, including their clothes and passports, in fact. So it's a pretty scary, dire situation right now. We're being told, do not go out at all. Do not walk in the streets. Do not get in a taxi or an Uber. Do not go to the airport.
Don't even go to the airport.
The airport may be shut down right now because of this cartel violence. I mean, we heard Trump mentioning a while back that he's going to go after the cartel in Mexico. Is this the beginning of that? Are we witnessing it live? I don't know, but everybody here has just been instructed to leave the area immediately. The entire beach here is being shut down.
Gotta go, get out of Mexico.
And really intense situation going on here in Puerto Vallarta. So I'm gonna continue to.
A Mexican boss has been caught.
We're gonna stay safe.
A big dog, Glenn Robb, Mexican boss has been caught.
I don't know if you can see the smoke in the air, but it's all over the place. It's thinned out now in the last hour.
It's bananas in Mexico.
Apparently, from what I understand, there's a whole bunch of cartel violence happening all over the city right now. We don't fly out until tomorrow. But
y'all not leaving tomorrow.
It's not going to be an issue for us because as it is right now, the airports might even be shut down. I hear the military is getting involved. Some of these cartels
y'all gonna see. I'm gonna show y'all.
Past shot down military helicopters because they literally own rocket launchers. So this is serious stuff. This is serious stuff. Again, everybody is being forced to vacate the bar, the beach area.
Get out of Dodge.
Smoke in the air. Major situation here in Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah.
Here's an update from my previous video. So back again is about an hour and a half later.
That looks beautiful, but damn.
Popping up in Puerto Vallarta. This
Puerto Vallarta.
Is closer to the church, more near the romantic zone. You can see all the black smoke.
They light shit up.
You can see all the white smoke. Or some of them have burnt themselves out. So this cartel action has not stopped. Definitely slowed down, but it has not stopped. There's a new fire in front of Lay here, right near the theater in Lay. You can see it there. So that just started up about 20 minutes ago. Then there's another one down over here. So sort of a smaller one, and then now a new one has started past all
Yo, the
buildings
cartel
over
lighting
here,
shit
and
up.
that's in the hotel
The boss
zone.
got caught. They caught a
You can
big
see where
dog
the black
boss.
smoke is here, all the way to PTL now.
Puerto Vallarta.
The whole sky is dark, so I'm not seeing as many fires. At one point, I think I counted 12 or 13 of them, and then they sort of burnt out. But now
shit
they
beautiful,
are
yo.
coming again. But I'm not hearing what was possibly gunfire, or most likely
Yo,
would have
Vatos
been
Bulldogs.
just the tires
Vatos Locos.
exploding on the cars that were caught on fire.
Puerto
But it has
Vallarta.
not stopped yet, people. Still going on, so stay in your condominiums and be safe until
That's
this
beautiful
is all
though,
over.
yo.
Now I'm seeing another fire just starting over here in front of this black one. This is new. So something's starting up there.
That sounds like his phone's going off. His shit blowing up
So
everywhere.
this is my understanding.
Big
what's
dog
going
boss
on.
been
I'm gonna read
caught.
Something I pulled up off the internet. It says what happened was El Mencho was captured.
El Mencho.
is the alias for Nemesio Azeguera Cervantes.
Yo, Vatos,
I'm
help
sure
us
I'm
out.
pronouncing
El
that
Mencho.
wrong. He's a Mexican drug cartel leader and one of the most wanted fugitives in the world. He is the co-founder and top leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, otherwise known as CJNG.
Jalisco Núñez.
A powerful criminal organized based in Guadalajara in the state of Jalisco. Why he's well known, the CJNG grew extremely fast over the last decade and became one of the most dominant criminal groups in Mexico. U.S. authorities, including Drug Enforcement Administration, the DEA, consider him one of the top international drug traffickers. The U.S. government has offered a multi-million-dollar reward for information leading to his capture. So a little bit of background. Before rising to power, he reportedly worked as a police officer and later became involved with the organized crime group that eventually evolved into the CJNG, the young, I guess what do they call it, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. He's been linked to large-scale drug trafficking and violent conflicts with rival groups and Mexican security forces. If you're asking about, okay, so I think that covers what this guy is all about. If you got any questions, just drop them to me in the comment section of the video, and we'll try to answer them. And as I pick up things, I'll let people know what's going on. But the fires are still going on in the bay, and there's lots of smoke here. I can still see a ship out here. I think this is one of the Navy boats here, sitting in the bay, right there. Just heard a bang. That's probably a tire blowing up from a vehicle.
Shit.
But the whole city is blanketed in smoke, and the wind is good, fortunately. It's taking it out into the mountains now. But has slowed down, but is definitely not over yet. And I heard that the airports in Puerto Vallarta are currently closed. You can see all the smoke all the way back out of Puerto Vallarta until the colonial or village of PTL as well. Just amazing. Never thought I'd see this in Puerto Vallarta. It's generally left alone.
Yo, Vatos, it looks beautiful safe over there.
Just
it looks
ask your
fucking
questions
beautiful.
And I'll try to answer them as much as I know.
I need to go visit there, yo.
New information comes up.
Well, not right now. Definitely not right now. But Puerto Vallarta.
And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day. Now, y'all, scenes out of Mexico, out of an area in Mexico called Jalisco. It looks like they have killed a high-ranking cartel member, a boss, y'all. And things have gotten, they've gone from 0 to 100 real quick, y'all. Apparently, even the airport is under attack.
0 to 100, nigga, real
Cartel as revenge.
Real quick. Real fucking quick, nigga.
They say that Americans are being attacked. People are having their cars taken and burned. Buildings are burning.
Taxi drivers.
It's just chaos there, y'all. So this update is a bit of a travel advisory if you're in Mexico. So hopefully you can get and stay safe. And also, all of the content we use here is under fair use. Without further ado, y'all, let's go ahead and get into it.
Banga.
So everybody is being told
All-time
to leave
low.
the area right now. Here on the beach, the tiki bar is being cleared out. All of these things are being cleared out. It's being roped off right now. They're asking that everybody vacate the area and leave immediately. You can see the smoke. I don't know if you can, the smoke in the sky. But we were just walking on the beach and we saw smoke everywhere. And we're being informed that there's major cartel violence happening right now all over Puerto Vallarta. Apparently, they've captured a top-ranking cartel member, and when that happens, all-out war happens. A number of cars have been set on fire, motorcycles set on fire. In fact, there were some attendees of Anarchapulco who were in a taxi cab. Taxi drivers are apparently targeted by the cartel.
They're snatching taxi drivers, man.
They had their car shot at. The taxi driver was murdered, and the car was set on fire. All of their luggage has been burnt, including their clothes and passports.
Damn.
Now, y'all, all of the videos that I'm showing you here are sourced from X, and this is the most recent information that I have. So definitely double check and verify. We're going to take a look at a very brief clip, supposedly now out of the local airport, where things have gone from bad to worse and very quick, y'all. Again, if you're in the area, please stay safe.
0 to 100, nigga, real quick. Real quick. Real fucking quick, nigga.
They blowing shit up, man.
Other footage seems to show people snatching people out of their vehicles and then leaving them stranded as the, I guess, cartel members, y'all, set the vehicles on fire. This is definitely wild stuff. Let's take a look.
They just taking them out the whip. Set that shit on fire. Damn, they like fuck it, yo. That shit crazy.
So a creator with
That's their gangbang music.
.ca, there's a YouTube channel. We will link.
Yo, Vatos, that's
this
gangbang
video
music?
down in the description. It looks like he's there right now, y'all. It looks like he's in the area. I think Puerto Vallarta in Mexico right now, while everything is going on. And
Snatching
he is
niggas
bringing
out.
harrowing tales of exactly what kind of chaos is unfolding. He's
Elemental.
also asking the question, is this just the start of something new? Did the Trump administration have something to do with this? Is this something that we may see more of coming up? Because we know Trump has said that the United States wants to go after the cartels.
So it's a pretty scary, dire situation right now. We're being told do not go out at all, do not walk in the streets, do not get in a taxi or an Uber, do not go to the airport. In fact, the entire airport may be shut down right now because of this cartel violence. I mean, we heard Trump mentioning a while back that he's going to go after the cartel in Mexico. Is this the beginning of that? Are we witnessing it live? I don't know, but everybody here has just been instructed to leave the area immediately.
Gotta go, get out of Mexico.
Is being shut down. It's clearing out, and really intense situation going on here in Puerto Vallarta. So I'm gonna continue to document this as we do. We're gonna stay safe in our hotel. I don't know if you can see the smoke in the air, but it's all over the place. It's thinned out now in the last hour, but apparently, from what I understand, there's a whole bunch of cartel violence happening all over the city right now. We don't fly out until tomorrow, but hopefully it's not going to be an issue for us, because as it is right now, the airports might even be shut down. I hear the military is getting involved. Some of these cartel have in the past shot down military helicopters because they literally own rocket launchers. So this is serious
This
stuff.
guy's got the best updates so far on most channels.
Welcome in, everyone. I hope you're doing well wherever you're watching from today. We have some major breaking news. A massive military operation has resulted in the death of the most wanted drug cartel kingpin in the world, known as El Mencho. He was killed today in Mexico, and a cartel war has absolutely erupted, and the combat footage from the streets in Mexico after the insane operation
bananas.
is absolutely half part fascinating, half part crazy, and absolutely horrifying all at the same time. So we're going to get into
Y'all
what we
think
know
black
happened.
people are wild.
What is happening now is the
Shit.
combat is unleashed across the country.
Right over the border.
Reports of U.S. military involvement on the ground and much, much more. You're not going to want to miss 1 second of this footage. Before we get into it, as always, please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free. Cost you guys absolutely nothing at all. Huge, huge boost to the channel. Comment with your thoughts below. President Trump vowed we would kill the drug cartel leaders, and now the most wanted man is dead. Let me know what you think of the footage of taking out the leader. Let me know in the comments below. Hit the notification bell. All notifications turned on. You won't miss a thing. And then Instagram, David_Hookstead, X D Hookstead. Give me a follow on both sides.
Go ahead and like the
My
stream.
DMs are wide open. Reach out for any tips you got. Now let's get into it.
Got David
I'm gonna throw this
Hookstead.
right up on the screen. It says, breaking news, breaking. Mexican newspaper El Universal reports that I can't pronounce this guy's name. His full legal name is
El Mencho.
Nemesio Oseguero Cervantes, known as El Mencho, the leader of Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJNG, has been killed. This has now been confirmed by multiple reports. The most wanted drug cartel kingpin in the world, the modern day Pablo Escobar, but with way more violence, way more bloodshed, was killed today, February 22nd, in a daring raid. We know that the Mexican military was involved. Some early reports indicate it was a joint operation with the United States military. That likely would mean Delta Force. Yes, you heard that correctly. Delta Force is likely, just with other operations, for taking out this drug cartel scumbag. He was killed in a blaze of gunfire, eliminated from the battlefield. I've told you for some time, Delta Force is quietly working in Mexico. We are now seeing the biggest victory against the drug cartels since Pablo Escobar. El Mencho was a horrific, horrific human, and he is responsible for the deaths and poisoning of countless Americans, and he has now been killed. He's as dead as disco. He is gone forever, and what can only be described is a wildly successful military operation. Unfortunately, his henchmen have taken to the streets. Now, I want to warn you, the footage I'm about to show you is highly troubling and at times very violent. So following his death, the drug cartel members of CJNG flooded the streets to shoot anyone they could find.
Dang.
Mexican police, Mexican military, innocent civilians. We have footage right now. This is from Jalisco. Let's watch. You see opening fire, gunfire unleashed in the street.
Damn, grandma
We have a
chilling
lot
like
of
yo.
videos. Stick around. There you go. They're running. Shots fired. Shots fired. Unbelievably brutal combat on the streets right now between the drug cartel
In
and
Jalisco.
uniformed soldiers.
Jalisco.
We have never seen anything like this in modern history. Mexico is turning into a modern, all-out war zone following the killing of El Mencho. This is in Guadalajara, Mexico. Reports of gunfire on the streets, people fleeing their vehicles. You can see people running.
And they lighting shit on fire.
Shots fired. We've got shots fired. You can see gunmen in the video firing shots right there.
Taxis getting raided.
Now they're getting in what looks to be a taxi and taking off. So these appear to be gunmen. Here, they have set fire to a bus full of people. Hopefully all the people got off. You can see the bus torched by the drug cartels right there. You can see people running and fleeing down the road. Stick with us. We got a lot of more insane footage. This is an arson attack in the Chula Vista neighborhood of Guanajuato.
This is
if I'm
crazy.
mispronouncing that, let me know in the comments below. The
We
cartels
got a
have
big
attacked
dog.
this area.
Big dog
It is
boss.
up in flames, up in
Got
smoke.
bodied.
Violence erupting across the country.
Got body.
And then here,
Big dog.
we've got people in a mall. Oh, sorry. This is the airport. They've attacked the airport.
Yeah.
The drug cartels, CJNG, has attacked the airport.
Let me go ahead and stop this. The first guy that spoke at the beginning of the live talks about he has a flight tomorrow. He's definitely not making that flight, as he suggested. The airport's got to be closed, taken over. Tourists ain't going no goddamn where.
People are running for their lives. They are in the airport.
That's
we
the
have
airport.
shots fired. People
the
running. You
airport.
can see smoke. The drug cartels targeting innocent civilians. Absolutely despicable, disgusting. And then here is a video from Tapalapa, Jalisco, that shows men moving through fields armed, right here, engaged in combat.
Engaged in combat.
You can hear machine gun fire erupting. Helicopters are in the air. Machine gun bursts right there. We do not know if these are soldiers or if these are cartel members. So there's an armored vehicle pressing up on the drug cartel area.
That's crazy.
And then here we have CJNG has set structures on fire in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Massive fire, vehicles are burning, the attacks are underway. Unbelievable scenes we are witnessing in real time following the killing of El Mencho. You can hear gunfire. There you go. You can see a
Bus is
bus
on fire.
has been torched. It is an all-out war zone, folks. It is an all-out war zone in Mexico. Here we have a pilot at the Guadalajara International Airport reports CJNG is storming the airport literally on the tarmac. This is out of a movie. This is out of a movie. They're warning people the attacks are underway at the airport. They're trying to kill everyone they can in retaliation.
That's crazy.
Further footage out of the airport. People fleeing, running for their lives. Horrifying scene. These are innocent civilians that the cartels are targeting. I've never seen anything like this before. This is unbelievable. This is surreal. The number one drug kingpin is dead, and his people are taking revenge on anyone out in the streets. These people running for their lives, running to safety, trying to get out of the way of the gunfire. And then here,
Thought they was gonna get away at that
we
airport.
have black smoke after bombings in Puerto Vallarta. You can see right there, buildings have been bombed by the drug cartels. This is a
Crazy.
vacation area. They are literally attacking tourist destinations. If you are an American in Mexico,
But you
get
can't
to
go.
safety. More footage
Where's
of
safety?
Puerto Vallarta. Get to safety.
The airport's closed.
They're setting up blockades.
Where's
hunting for
safety?
people.
Just think about it. Where is
Stay
safety?
indoors. Stay indoors.
About to say.
You are an American. Get out if you can.
Where? And go where?
Unbelievable
The embassy?
footage. All right,
Where?
here we have more footage. This is literally coming out breaking as I am bringing this to you. More
Airport.
people in the airport running for their lives. You can see police. Even the police are running away. The police are fleeing.
The police are running with your
There,
ass.
we saw that one already. More explosions, bombings are underway. And then right here, you can see cars that have been torched. Folks, I'm telling you right now, we are witnessing something
Anarchy.
unlike anything. Okay, breaking news coming in right now. They have begun bombing military sites.
Damn.
Military sites in Mexico are being bombed as we
Damn.
speak.
Mexico,
Unbelievable.
what the hell?
So they are bombing military bases in Mexico. All right, I'm going to pull this off the screen. So we have an all-out war.
This is
All-out
bananas.
war has broken out in Mexico after a military operation that reports indicate was a joint operation between United States forces and Mexican special forces killed
Bodied.
El Mencho, the leader of CJNG, the most violent and powerful drug cartel in the world. We have been hunting El Mencho for decades. You are watching this. I can report to the American people and people of the world, he has been killed. And that is a great day for those of us who want to protect innocent life. But now violence and terrorism is spreading across Mexico in a fashion we have never seen. We will continue to monitor and follow the situation. I pray for the innocent people caught in the crossfire. We need the military, the Mexican military, and any U.S. Special Forces in the region, special operations in Mexico, to unleash hell on these criminals and crush them wherever we can find them. This is an unreal situation. I will continue to follow it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all when we have more updates.
The country experienced a record number of journalist deaths in 2022. Criminal cartels and corruption have plagued the country for decades, continuing a cycle of violence.
A leaked 35-second video has just sent shockwaves through the halls of power in Washington and Mexico City. It shows a coordinated strike against a young reporter in a family taco shop.
Dang.
This was not a random act of violence. It was a professional hit filmed on GoPros by men who acted like they were untouchable. Now, for the first time ever, the United States is moving toward a massive security alliance with its southern neighbor.
The USS Gerald Ford, now off the waters of Venezuela. President Donald Trump deployed it to fight what he calls dangerous drug cartels there.
The brutality was so loud that the world can no longer look away from what is happening on the ground. The final alliance. The situation in Veracruz has reached a point where even the highest levels of government can no longer ignore the noise. On January 8th, 2026, a young man named Carlos Castro was working at his family taco shop. He was only 25 years old and spent his time running a social media news page called Código Norte. He was not a famous anchor or a wealthy reporter. He was just a guy with a phone and a desire to tell the truth.
That's how it
But
started.
in a place like Veracruz, the truth is often the most dangerous thing you can possess. It was around 7 p.m. when the peace of the neighborhood was broken. A group of armed men entered the shop and fired more than 30 rounds into Carlos. The most chilling part of this entire event is that the gunmen recorded everything. They wore cameras on their gear and spoke over radios as they moved into position. This was a professional removal carried out by people who knew they would not be caught. They did not wear masks because they knew they owned the street. This hit was a calculated message to every other reporter in the country. The footage was leaked online and showed the assassination squad talking to each other with total calm. They knew exactly where Carlos was standing behind the counter. Terrified customers hit the floor as the air filled with the smell of gunpowder. Within seconds, the young man was gone, and the shop his parents built was covered in red. This was not just a local crime. It was a loud statement that the government was no longer in charge of the state. The brutality was so blatant that it forced the Mexican government to reach out to the United States for a new kind of security cooperation. For years, the two nations have talked about working together. But this time feels different. The pressure from human rights groups and the international press has become too much to handle. President Claudia Sheinbaum is now facing a crisis that started just weeks after she took office. In her first 100 days, 11 journalists have already been lost. That is one person every 9 days on average. The world is watching to see if this new alliance will actually do anything, or if it is just another empty promise. The United States has offered to send resources and intelligence to help take down the groups responsible. But many people are wondering if it is already too late. The groups in charge have spent decades building their power. They have more money and better gear than many local police forces. This new alliance is being called an emergency security framework, and it marks a major shift in how the two countries talk about the border. But here is the catch. The secret routes that rule the Gulf. See, Veracruz is not just another state in Mexico. It is a place of massive strategic value. It sits right on the Gulf of Mexico and has some of the biggest port access in the entire region. This makes it a vital spot for anyone trying to move goods toward the United States. Whether it is fuel or other products, everything flows through these ports. For criminal groups, controlling Veracruz means controlling a massive part of the trade route. The coastline stretches for hundreds of miles, and the terrain is perfect for hiding activity. There are multiple groups fighting for this territory right now, and the violence is no longer just between gangs. It has turned into a total war for land. These organizations do not just move substance anymore. They have branched out into every part of the economy. They extort taxi drivers and small business owners. They even have a say in public contracts. In many ways, they have built a shadow government. The mayors and local officials are often just reading from a script written by the bosses. If an official refuses to play along, they are quickly removed. This creates a situation where the people who are supposed to protect the public are actually working for the criminals. This is why a reporter like Carlos was in so much trouble. He was reporting on things that the shadow government wanted to keep quiet. He exposed corruption in the police force and showed how the local authorities were ignoring the violence. Carlos had even asked for protection months before he was attacked. He told the authorities that he was receiving messages saying he would be ended if he did not stop writing. But his requests were buried.
Yo, say Vato. Yo, Reese, what up? Vato, what up?
Same if you go against the government in the United States, but you know they do it more low key. Right here, it's more out in the open.
Yeah, you might just say that again. I know you said Mexico and United States something.
Oh, the government will delete you too. Here, you talk against them, and you know you have a big.
You just hearing about this, or are you new about this? Oh yeah. That sends a message. I think we all know that. Black people ain't got shit on Mexico. We live right next to you motherfuckers. Yo, Reese, you heard about this shit? What's up?
Yeah, I heard about this earlier.
That shit is live right now.
It's gotten crazier though.
They lighting shit up. Them niggas ain't getting out either because the airport's on smash.
Or it's gonna die down within the next week.
Within the next week, shit. Look how busy they getting busy within 20 minutes.
How many people be dead by then?
This shit gonna be bananas. Let me start this. Well, this is like just a little history because I didn't know this part about this blatant body. Like Vato said, dude telling the truth, and then America gets together with Mexico, and I mean they run this mission, and now shit, we just shoot up everything.
It's gonna get bad
in a pile of
against the
paperwork.
government.
No one came to help him because the people in charge were likely the ones sending the threats. This is the reality for almost every reporter in the coastal states. They have to decide between staying silent or risking their lives. Most people choose to stay silent. This is called self-censorship, and it has turned large parts of the country into information blackouts. In these areas, the only news that gets out is the news that the groups in charge allow. It is not just about fear. It is about total control over what people think and see. The ports of Veracruz are the engine of this power. They provide the money that allows these groups to buy the latest gear and pay off the right people. Ghost signals. The story of Carlos Castro did not end when he was put in the ground. Just 48 hours after his funeral, a new nightmare began for his family. His 23-year-old girlfriend, Wendy, and her best friend, Karimi, went to the cemetery to pay their respects. They were seen leaving around 5 p.m. and walking toward the parking area. By the time night fell, they were gone. Their phones went silent, and their families could not reach them. Then, in the middle of the night, both families got the exact same text message. The messages said they were in a city called Tuxpan. This city is known for being a very dangerous place under the thumb of the groups that took Carlos. It was not a place where these two women would ever go on their own, especially at night. It became clear very quickly that they had been taken. This happened right after the funeral, which shows that the people responsible were still watching. They wanted to make sure that anyone close to Carlos was also silenced. The timing was too perfect to be a coincidence. Even the local governor confirmed that there was an investigation, but no leads were found. The Attorney General even tried to say there was no link between the attack on Carlos and the missing women. Nobody believed that for a second. It was a clear attempt to cover up the truth. This.
We'll say what?
I said, damn, the fact that they, they're willing to participate in the cover-up,
Hey.
Is how the system works. They use fear to keep people from asking questions. If you look too closely at a crime, you might become part of the next one. The families of Wendy and Karemi are still waiting for answers. They are living in a state of constant fear, wondering if they will ever see their loved ones again. This is a common story in the region. People vanish every day, and the numbers are staggering. Some experts believe that the real number of people lost is over 300,000. The official reports say 100,000, but many crimes are never even reported because people do not trust the police. They know that the person taking the report might be the same person who helped the kidnappers. The use of ghost signals and strange texts is a tactic used to confuse families and slow down any real search. It is a cruel way to maintain control over the population. It is not that simple, though. The silent grave. The numbers associated with the systemic eradication of the Mexican press are not merely horrifying. They are the mathematical proof of a collapsing state where the truth has become a terminal liability. Since the dawn of the millennium, at least 162 journalists have been erased from the map of the living, a figure that represents not a statistical anomaly, but a targeted campaign of intellectual cleansing. Mexico currently holds the grim distinction of being the most lethal geography on the planet for those who carry a notebook or a camera, frequently outpacing active, declared war zones in its body count. During the previous administration, 54 reporters were liquidated, marking the deadliest 6-year window in the nation's modern history. Yet the current government is witnessing a trajectory of violence that is moving with even more terrifying velocity. The mechanical precision of this slaughter is bolstered by a vacuum of justice, so absolute it feels intentional. With over 90% of attacks against the press remaining unsolved, the message to those who would silence a voice is loud and clear. There are no consequences for the murder of an idea. This culture of total impunity has birthed a reality where criminals operate with the confidence of gods. They do not fear the law because they have effectively replaced it, creating shadow territories where the news is not reported but curated by the very cartels that benefit from the silence.
We can forget about the Epstein
This
files.
leads us into the darker, more speculative.
Say what?
You think it's so we can forget about the Epstein files? Now we have
Man,
this
that
shit
Epstein
going
files ain't going nowhere. That shit ain't going nowhere. What makes you think that shit is? What makes you think they get through 1 million pages in a month? Stop playing. Makes no sense.
Of why this persists. Some whisper that the level of unsolved crimes isn't due to incompetence, but because the archives of the fallen contain dead man's switches, digital troves of evidence.
Trump Ben said he was trying to take motherfuckers out. Say nothing new, he just got his ass.
Linked to international elite circles that are only held at bay by the periodic sacrifice of the reporters themselves. There is a wild, persistent theory that the cartels are actually testing grounds for a new form of corporate state governance, where the press is eliminated to see how a population reacts when deprived of all objective reality. If you control the narrative by eliminating the narrator, you own the past, present, and future. Washington has begun to frame this as a paramount national security crisis, viewing the instability as a contagion that ignores the physical boundaries of the border. Leaders in the United States are increasingly vocal about direct intervention, arguing that the Mexican government is either paralyzed by fear or has been completely subsumed by the interests it claims to fight. Yet, some analysts suggest a more cynical layer, that the chaos is a manufactured necessity. Under this theory, the war on the press is a smokescreen for a massive clandestine resource grab. By keeping the border regions in a state of hyper-violent flux and ensuring no journalists are left to document the land deals or the mineral extraction, multinational entities can operate in the shadows of the carnage. The cartels, in this view, are merely the paramilitary wing of a global economic machine that finds the free press to be a nuisance to the bottom line. The new alliance being touted by politicians is presented as a final stand for the free press. But skeptics wonder if it is merely a new layer of surveillance disguised as protection. There is a haunting possibility that the programs designed to protect journalists are actually sophisticated tracking systems, intended to lead the executioners directly to the source of any leak. We are forced to consider if we are witnessing the deliberate end of an era, the sunset of the age of information.
It's a fact, because we grew up listening to the Mexico just get busy.
The demand for the illicit goods that fuel this fire
makes
comes
sense.
from the north, and the capital that armors the assassins flows from the same direction. It is a closed loop of blood and currency that requires the death of the witness to function. Perhaps the most radical theory is that the silencing of the Mexican press is part of a broader global experiment in controlled information deserts. If a country as large and culturally significant as Mexico can be successfully blinded, the same tactics of localized violence and institutionalized impunity can be exported anywhere. The journalists who remain on the front lines are more than just brave. They are the last biological firewalls against an encroaching darkness that seeks to render the truth obsolete. They continue their work in the names of Carlos, Wendy, Karemi, and the scores of others whose voices were cut short, knowing that every word they publish could be their last. They understand that when the truth is treated as a crime, the act of reporting becomes a revolutionary struggle for the survival of the human spirit. If they fall, we don't just lose the news, we lose the ability to perceive the chains being forged around us. The question is no longer whether the alliance will work, but whether we are already living in the aftermath of a war that the truth has already lost. Does this new alliance actually have the power?
Wanted in the U.S. There was a $15 million reward for El Mencho. Look, $15 million, up to $15 million. Oops, I have to make this smaller so you can see it. But there was.
We'll get more in depth for the reward that was for Mr. El Mencho.
For El Mencho.
Hey, you think someone snitched on him or dropped the location?
Nigga, they ran. I mean,
the leader.
It don't even matter. It ain't like it was a surprise.
Like an informant.
America and Mexico set something up, and
Mexico.
hey.
So now he has been killed today, and as a result, violence has broken out. And apparently, looks like
this guy's actually live right now.
For this. So we are going to bring you some live updates on this.
More live updates.
See,
this is agenda-free channel. Is agenda-free.
Pin message. Okay, I just pinned it there. If our moderators can pin it on leader of powerful Jalisco New Generation.
Yeah, but what if he always has a lot of views?
Official says, and it has set off this violence. Oops, let me just adjust this. Leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, Nemesio Ruben Oseguera Cervantes El Mencho, in an operation today, a federal official said, decapitating what had become Mexico's. on the screen for you right now.
Hold up.
It's a little off here. So I'm going to do it this way. There it is. I have it coming on the screen for you right now. This is in Mexico City. The audio's a little iffy. Again, this is National Guard outside attorney's office after, oh, hold on a second. And I got, there's another video I have too, but this is in Mexico City. It just says National Guard outside attorney's office. Let me get the, hold on, just give me 2 seconds. I think there's another video I have access to, but not
in Jalisco. Guardia Nacional.
The CJNG cartel. And the Mexican government has killed El Mencho, the head of the cartel, with assistance from the U.S. The government said it had intelligence assistance. Fox News and the Washington Post were reporting that a task force was involved. A U.S. military task force was involved. This comes as the Trump administration has been putting pressure on the Mexican government to do more to fight drug trafficking into the United States.
Dang. Yo, Bobby. I got another live streamer on it, matter of fact. This dude, one dude, he gets pretty in depth right here.
I can't believe this is happening.
Well, crack. You're early, man. You're early. And thank you so much for the support. And we are early. We are early because a cartel war started. It was completely unexpected. And I got to thank you so much for the support. That was this channel to keep on running. Because if it wasn't for folks like you, we wouldn't be able to make this channel possible, and we wouldn't be able to keep it running. So a huge thanks to you so much once again. And with that, we are on to the next one. We also have a 5 from Rob McDonald. He said, y'all are my favorite.
Here comes another cartel
on
Netflix.
Us to be your favorite news source. And we're very honored to hold that title. So
the hood in America is doomed.
And with that, we're on to the next one. And we have a 5 from MGEZ.
So what up with America?
If Mexico was to ask for U.S. military support, how much support could we give them right now, considering our massive deployment to the Middle East at this moment? Generally, as far as support, it would most likely be provided by the U.S. Army, and in terms of that support, we could give plenty. The Army doesn't really seem to be involved a lot in what's going on in the Middle East right now, at least in terms of deployed ground forces, except for air defense, which we really will need. It's the cartel. So we would be able to provide a decent amount of support in terms of ground support and also air support in the form of helicopters.
Maybe Trump wants a reason to go in and light shit up.
So I hope that does for us the best I can. And big thanks to you for the support and help this channel keep it running.
I mean, Republicans like testing our military.
Quite easily, really.
Strength.
Because everyone always says, oh, you know, the cartels are really
He's
well
gonna go
armed.
snatch the Mexican president.
Criminal outfit, it's really well armed, but compared to the U.S. military, they wouldn't stand a chance. But a big thanks to you so much once. And I mean, honestly, at this point right now, it doesn't really look like they're standing that good of a chance against the Mexican army. I mean, they're literally just hanging out and picking them off with a direct war with these forces in the area. So you could be right. It could be that they're trying to secure this region, specifically the Jalisco region, so that way they can try to negotiate with the government from that point forward, perhaps, or something of that nature. But it's pretty serious, though, because they're trying to basically take over an entire region of Mexico, and it's not limited.
Say what? Say
what?
what?
They're using secret intelligence that the cartel has no idea of, you know?
Oh, well. I mean, or you could just use the good old-fashioned way, people. Shit, that's all good old fashioned way. Let me take a couple hostages, your family, and hey, let me tell you something. That's it.
The Jalisco, by the way, it's reaching into other regions as well. So the government has a situation on their hands where they have to get control of this area again, or essentially they're losing control of a massive part of their country.
Yeah, it does seem that is definitely the case, and we might be seeing that they're going to attempt to take the city hostage, or I would have to say that this also seems wildly similar to me, folks, at least from what it appears they're trying to position themselves into right now, a part of Vallarta. This sounds like it's about to be a brand new Sarajevo. And to remind everyone of what was going on way back in the day.
I remember that.
I believe it was Sarajevo in Bosnia and Herzegovina, back during the Bosnian Wars, or generally the Yugoslavian Wars. We were able to see that I believe it was the Republic of Srpska, generally took control of all points in and out of the city and started a general blockade of the city, and would use snipers and other forms of actions to fire into the city at civilians and create such an abhorrent, even according to their own doctrine, humanitarian situation for the citizenry on the ground that the other forces in Bosnia would have absolutely, which is the Republic of Bosnia and Herzegovina, would have absolutely no recourse but to accept the demands of the Republic of Srpska. Otherwise, they would continue to see that their fellow citizens in Sarajevo would continue to suffer at the hands of the Republic of Srpska armed forces.
Hey,
this seems to be a fairly similar situation that we might be seeing here, to where the Mexican cartel, the Jalisco New Generation, is going to try and blockade part of Vallarta, and then threaten that if the Mexican government does not accept their demands, they're going to allow for these people to begin to starve, and they're also going to sporadically fire at and kill any of them that they can find if they're wandering outside of their houses, to be able to try and get some necessities like food, water, or something else. The Jalisco New Generation cartel put out a specific warning for the Puerto Vallarta area just a little while ago, and did state that if any citizens were found outside of their houses after 2 p.m. this afternoon, which at this moment I believe that time is currently passed right now within the city, they stated that they would be shooting to kill literally anyone, no matter who they were, men, women, or children within the city, if they ventured outside of their houses after about 2 o'clock. So it does seem that they might be working on creating that sort of a scenario to where the humanitarian situation is so bad, either the Mexican government has to continue to watch that happen as they try and break this siege, or they will have to meet the cartel's demands to be able to see that these sieges and the brutality ends. We're not really sure if that is going to be the case, but considering that the cartel does take pretty dastardly actions, at least historically, it is definitely without a doubt that they could try and take actions similar to that in the present day. Matthew, what are people thinking about this cartel action in the moment? Are people thinking that the cartel is attempting to take over regions, take over the government, or do they think that the Mexican government will actually be able to maintain complete control of the situation no matter how bad it gets? And what are you thinking about it as well?
Okay, so what do you think this is going to come to, basically? How bad are these cartel attacks going to get against the Mexican government? How bad is it going to get? 39% said the cartel will take over some regions, while 25% said Mexico will maintain full control, and 22% said the cartel will take over the government. So this is very serious, by the way. No exaggeration. This is a situation that could threaten the balance of power inside of Mexico. It has been known for a while that the cartels hold quite a bit of influence inside of Mexico, but this is a direct attack on the Mexican government. This is not just simply a political power struggle. This is basically an active war zone at this point. So we're not really sure what the cartel is up to. They've made statements on messaging apps saying that they're on the warpath. They're going to get revenge. And their top leader has been taken out.
Going to bust out Americans all day, all night.
Is at this point, it could be to go for the seat of government, because I would assume they're going to blame the Mexican government for taking out their leader, since that's who carried out the operation. So we don't know what's going to take place. Also, the fact that the U.S. provided intelligence, that could put the target on the United States next as well. So a very dangerous situation. I would say at the moment, the cartel will certainly take over some regions. I would say Jalisco is priority number 1 for the cartel, and they currently operated there anyway. So they already had some pretty good power in that region. They're probably going to cut it off, though, from the rest of Mexico. That's my guess. But they'll probably move on beyond that, because we're seeing in other places, including tourist locations inside of Mexico, there are cars being torched, there are gunfights taking place. So it's not limited to Jalisco. It's moving outside of it as well. And we're also hearing about clashes with possibly the Sinaloa as well. So this could spark a cartel war in the midst of the Mexican government getting attacked. That's how crazy the situation is right now. It's almost a full war zone inside of Mexico. But Enforcer, what say you?
And also, I just saw someone ask, El Mencho is dead, and yes, that is correct. El Mencho actually died about a few hours ago, around 4 hours
Where?
or 5 hours
Show
ago
me a
at this
picture.
point, in a
Show me the
Mexican
body,
Special
dog.
Forces raid that appears to have gone pretty poorly after El Mencho's men and himself started to fire back at Mexican Special Forces. We understand that they hit him and actually ended up killing him in the process of the firefight. So that is why we're seeing what's going on in Mexico happening right now. If you're joining us right now, just to make sure to recap this really quickly before I even talk about the poll myself, right now what we're watching is the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, which is one of the big two out of the cartels in Mexico, which also includes the Sinaloa Cartel, is currently conducting basically an all-out war against the Mexican government and what appears to be possibly the Mexican people, due to the fact that El Mencho just died in that raid about 5 hours ago. So that's what we're watching right now, and this is why that's happening. So moving on to that, I would have to say that while the cartel does pose a significant and major danger to the Republic of Mexico on the ground, I think that the Mexican government will be able to maintain full control of the situation, although it's definitely going to get pretty hairy here quite soon, and it already is pretty hairy at the moment right now. Some areas of Mexico have descended into absolute lawlessness, like the Jalisco State area. And we do understand that this is spreading throughout the regions into different surrounding areas, even including the Puebla state, which is just south of Mexico City. If that is the case, it is definitely possible that the Mexican government would be able to retake control of the situation, but that is going to take some time. And we may also see that insurgent activities such as terrorist attacks by the Jalisco New Generation Cartel may become highly prevalent, especially if the Mexicans are able to destroy what we can now call the conventional armed forces of the Jalisco Cartel that we're watching currently still conducting his actions right now. To also point out some other additional actions, speaking of Puerto Vallarta, which seems to be the largest... Go ahead.
Real quick though, before we jump back into part of Vallarta, which is, I believe, a tourist location actually, I'm seeing some crazy footage coming out right now. I'm seeing footage of a major gun battle between the security forces and the cartel in an area which I cannot pronounce. I'm not really sure how to pronounce this whatsoever. I wish I could, but you can show it on the screen though, and people can see the name of the place. It's a gun battle and a half. Let's just put it that way. It looks like both sides are fighting pretty strong. So check this out, Enforcer. It's at the very top of the Twitter page, and it looks like it's a wide open gun battle right now.
So apparently this is in the area of La Desembocada. If y'all know where that is, apparently it is somewhere within the Jalisco state. But here is a video of a firefight. We believe that these men in the video are a part of the Jalisco cartel.
Holy shit.
Damn. That is insane.
Man, is that not insane or what? That is insane. You rarely hardly see gunfights quite like that in an active war zone in Ukraine. Like, that is, they are unloading 50 cal machine guns. Like, the cartel side, they've got some firepower, and also the security forces are firing back. That's crazy work.
You know, the only time I've seen firefights like that is when the Taliban attacked Pakistan. At least in terms of like the ferocity of the firepower, just in small arms. This is absolutely crazy right here. This is actually showing that the area is descending into absolute chaos. We also were able to see these clips as well, which are coming out of the Guadalajara Civil Hospital within the city of Guadalajara, which is actually showing that the hospital is trying to rapidly evacuate while the situation is continuing to deteriorate in the Jalisco State area, which also includes the city of Guadalajara. We see them conducting a hurried evacuation, generally running around and trying to do everything they can as quickly as possible before the cartel might possibly take control of the hospital. Pretty rough situations, to say the least. We have also been able to see that additionally, it appears that there were some clashes going on between the Mexican security forces and Jalisco cartels in Guadalajara itself, which is just right outside of the hospital, which is ongoing at the moment. Actually, we have so many clips coming out right now that it's fairly hard to even keep up with them, and then also show what's going on here on the map that we already have from prior. But I do have to bring y'all back to Puerto Vallarta, and we're going to have to force this news through because this is a fairly important one, because we did get to see that it appeared that the Costco had actually been caught on fire within the area of the city, which I do believe that we have in one of these clips somewhere in here. Let me see if I can get it for y'all here really quickly. I believe this is
also,
one
by
of
the way, the Costco actually was not on fire. It was the cartel had torched some cars in the parking lot, so the Costco was safe. It's just simply a heat fire in the parking lot.
Oh, okay. They did catch some cars on fire around the parking lot of the Costco, but luckily they didn't catch the Costco on fire.
Roosters.
I gotta say, this kind of stuff is really crazy to see, and really kind of showed how bad of a result would happen if the cartels were hit incredibly hard. I mean, that's one thing that's for certain at this point.
Do you see, though, like it appears to be, because I've seen some people noting this in the chat, the cartels had a very, very quick plan that they put into action once their leader was taken out. It seems to be this was some version of like a dead man's switch, basically. They had a plan ready to go in case this event took place, and it appears to be arson is their main weapon at this point. They're basically going around with gasoline. They're pouring it on everything. They're lighting everything on fire. They're hitting gas stations. They're torching cars. They're torching buses. Anything that's flammable and they can somehow set it on fire and cause a massive arson to take place, they're doing that. That's their main thing they're doing right now. They're also, if they run across any security forces, they're literally going by and spraying the cars that they're riding in too. So they're doing that. So it seems to me like this plan here was probably in the works for a long time, and it's just now being put into action now that their leader's been taken out.
I think that this was definitely some sort of a war plan that they had. I'll be entirely honest with you. I believe that the cartel may actually have several different war plans that they can execute, and that they also train their members in some sort of infantry level tactics and strategies. Because what we're seeing so far is actually pretty well thought out and incredibly thorough on a wide scale. The fact that they're creating roadblocks on major roadways throughout key areas of the ongoing conflict is showing us that they generally have an understanding of how logistics and supply lines work, and also reinforcements and where they would come in or in what points of egress they would have, and that they're trying to block them off to even slow down the amount of reinforcements that the Mexican National Guard and the Army are able to move into the area. We've also been able to see that multiple flights were diverting out of the area earlier, as of course the area has been completely closed to civilian air traffic due to the major situations that are now developing on the ground, including an American Airlines flight that was actually heading to Puerto Vallarta, and we also understand that a couple of flights as well that were also heading to the city have been diverted as well, as the airport has now been taken over by the cartel. Additionally, outside of that, we were able to see that there was an unfortunate attack on the Mexican National Guard in San Isidro. I cannot show y'all this full video, but from what we can tell, to quickly get y'all over here to this, these trucks that you see right here in black are actually the trucks of the Jalisco cartel. The ones in white are of the Mexican National Guard, and these trucks literally just drove up and conducted a drive-by on the Mexican National Guard. And while I can't show y'all the full video, I can confirm that unfortunately several more National Guard members in this video did lose their lives and largely laid down their lives in the line of service in Mexico against the cartels as they're conducting their reign of chaos throughout the region at the moment. We were able to see that nearby, and not that much later, around the area of the town of Aztlan, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, did appear that federal forces of the Mexican government were beginning to move in, which we could see in this clip right here.
I guess most of them are plain clothes. It looks like the most they're wearing is maybe a vest with possibly some plates in it or something. It looks like they're mostly plain clothes, actually.
Yeah, it does appear so. And also,
Mexicans
I see a lot of
rocking
people
them
deriding
big guns and
Americans
Yeezys.
Mexico. I do want to make it clear that until today, Mexico generally had a state-by-state travel advisory warning, and the U.S. Department of State had largely said that travel to most tourist areas in Mexico was safe. It's just that they need to make sure not to go out of the tourist areas and into areas that had heavy cartel control. So I would say that that's definitely not on the fault of any American citizens that listen to the Department of State's travel advisories, because the Department of State have been putting out travel advisories saying that tourist locations like Puerto Vallarta, Cancun, Mexico City, and others were absolutely safe to be able to travel to. That's, of course, not considering the fact that, the head of one of the largest cartels in Mexico could get killed at any moment, and then the entire part of the country in that area could descend
Shambles.
into literal chaos,
Hey, we've
and
seen the
most cities
bloodbath
could be
within
besieged.
cartels,
That's
but
really
now
not taken into
this
account on the Department of State's
is
travel
something else.
advisors every day, because they're generally considering that, there's only so many cartel leaders, and there's only so little chance that they're going to get killed, and this sort of a hell is going to break out at any moment, so the risk would be low. And it turns out that the risk, while low, happened to be popping off at least today. We also got a lot...
Also, by the way, before you jump into the news from Guadalajara, I did find the video showing you the firepower of the CJNG cartel. In fact, it's a video showing their special forces group. Believe it or not, they have different divisions of paramilitary forces, including a special forces elite group, as they call it. So I have a video showing you all their different machine guns, their vehicles that are armored, literally all the way down a dirt road. Take a look at this.
So this is a fairly old clip, I do have to tell y'all. This is from a couple of years ago. But this was actually put out by the Jalisco New Generation Cartel to be able to show off the firepower of some of their armed forces of the cartel, which is basically a private army, which is funded and operated directly by the head of the cartel, which was El Mencho up until a couple of hours ago. But here's the clip showing their forces, at least in this video.
It's showing off, yo.
And it appears that they have custom-made armored cars. And the reason why I say that they're custom is because this is clearly some sort of an SUV that they've just plated in loads of armor. And I guess they rigged up the suspension to be a lot tougher as a result.
These niggas, yo, I know those lights. Those are Ford F-350 lights. That's F-350. I do cars, people. Those lights in that grill is a Super Duty Ford F-350. Probably a King Ranch.
Loads of armor, and I guess they rigged up the suspension to be a lot tougher as a result.
These niggas is creative, boy.
Yeah, they all appear to be.
Look at these niggas posing and shit.
Or F-350s have been modified for the most part.
No, what I say? What the fuck I just say? I just said. What he about to say? What?
Like Ford F-250s or F-350s.
Well, I'll tell you,
modified for the most part, and they look like they're sort of older models too. So I'm sure they just got them off the used market or something. But it's interesting they put like police lighting into the like vehicle itself, because it's not like they're performing emergency services or something. This is a cartel. But,
he said it ain't like, yo. He's like, they got police lighting on the front, and I mean, it ain't like they performing emergency services, but they like, fuck it, yo, put them on it. I mean, we could run down on people, trick the cops. Like, fuck it, why not trick people and think we're the cops? Before it's too late, we run down on you.
Also notice, by the way, on the windows, they did a very small porthole. They apparently they didn't have the maybe the funds to possibly armor out the whole window in glass. So they
just said fuck it
on the side of it. But nonetheless, this is a lot of armor for a paramilitary group.
You know, something that's incredibly interesting here is that this guy actually has a 40mm grenade launcher underslung on his AK. It seems to be probably, well, he doesn't have a mag in it. So the mag's like the easiest way to tell an AKM from an AK-74. Looks like it might be an AKM, but he has an M203 40mm grenade launcher that would usually be mounted onto an M16. Right here, this is an M203 grenade launcher. Usually, there is a special sort of an installer.
Yeah, so he just did.
Onto a Picatinny.
So he Mexico rigged it. He Vato rigged it. Vato Loco rigged it.
Rail or some other sort of a mod on an M16 or an M4 to be able to mount this thing, but it appears that they mounted this onto an AKM. That also suggests that they're generally improvising all of this, and there isn't really a general supplier, because if they had a general supplier and they were getting parts to fit, they would have gotten a GP25 grenade launcher, which can be fitted onto an actual AK. It's this one right here. Wow. These can be mounted onto AK-74s and similar types of firearms of the AK platform. So
wow.
It does show that largely at the moment from the video that we're seeing, they are very obviously well equipped, but a lot of it does appear to be improvised arms and equipment. We can also see this person here with what appears to be some sort of a 338 Lapua, if I'm not mistaken, or something similar sized. It has a fairly large octagon and appears to be a
tripod at the bottom.
Yeah, this was a full detail weapon.
With a generally, actually, that's a fairly bare bones sort of an AR platform right there. It does have a decent amount of ballistic gear on, however. We can also see a technical here. That actually appears to be a 50 cal on top of that truck. We can also see this guy with what appears to be some sort of a belt-fed machine. Actually, it appears that everyone there had belt-fed machine guns. These guys appear to have some sort of ARs and more bell-fed machine guns.
Another Ford with the Ford on the front.
Quality's a little low.
Damn.
See, these are actually car
Look at it going all the way down the dirt road, though. Like, it's like the whole dirt road is like full of these guys. Also, the side of the vehicle says Elite Forces or something, like below their like logo and the skull and bones and shit, or junk, excuse me. Down there at the bottom it says Elite Forces or something. So I think this is their version of Special Forces.
I believe so. We can also see here that they have a Jeep that they have also custom kitted to be armored. It doesn't appear that the tires on any of these vehicles are bulletproof, however. You can also see what appears to be a Hummer that they've armored up as well. This appears to be that Hummer.
It's just showing off, but it's like, damn, they geared up though.
Also, everybody's saying this is an old video. It is an old video, but they're still using these vehicles though. Just because the vehicles are like a couple years old doesn't mean they trash them or something. So this is still their loadout.
And this is generally the sort of forces that we are seeing that the cartel is pushing forward into the field right now. So this is the reason why we're showing the video, is that while it is a couple of years old, which I did mention,
that's what they're working with.
It is still showing the armament, equipment, and also vehicles that the cartel is likely and also definitely using at this point right now, as we've already seen similar vehicles and equipped soldiers on film conducting operations against the Mexican National Guard, the Mexican Army, and generally the cities of Mexico within the Jalisco state.
So let's go ahead and pause this video right here and show you something different, actually. I'm currently getting a new video coming out of Puerto Vallarta showing what appears to be more violence breaking out. It looks like at a gas station, perhaps. I'm not really sure what's going on here. Maybe they're trying to torch the station or they're trying to fight the security forces, but this is apparently happening in Puerto Vallarta. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is one of the tourist spots, right?
Yes, Puerto Vallarta is a tourist location.
Interesting. Yeah, so it's apparently happening right in the center of it.
So let's take a look at this clip. We see here the cartel, we would believe, or actually I'm not really sure, that's a white truck, so that might be the Mexican National Guard. Also, Matthew, have we vetted this clip to see if it's not graphic?
Let's see here. It looks like we're just simply seeing some vehicles pulling up and doing something. Maybe some gunfire going off. I'm not seeing anything graphic in the video, personally.
All right, and so we'll continue to show it. And we can see the members of this group moving around the vehicles. They are armed, and now we can see a firefight commence. We can hear the firefight continuing on down the street. It appears to be on the side of the camera. We now see them once again relocating to the vehicles quickly, and it appears that they're hopping in and trying to get out of the area as quickly as possible. The firefight is continuing, however.
Dang, better get out. Better get out.
It appears that the two vehicles have actually run into each other.
Why the fuck are they running into each other? Goddamn. Oh, they on their ass.
Oh, that was
they
the
on
cartel.
Their ass.
They're running from the Mexican army that's in the armored car.
Oh, that's kind of surprising. Actually, I thought it'd be the other way around, since this is their region. But apparently, the security forces got the jump on them that time.
Yeah, and it also appears they got the jump on them well enough that
they ran into each other. Yo, like, oh shit!
That the vehicles ended up actually ramming each other while they were trying to leave. So I actually watched this part.
Look, they ain't fuck up their axles and shit. Look at that! Damn.
Run into what appears to be. What is that, Matthew? A Jeep? It looks. Yeah, it looks
like
a
Wrangler.
Jeep.
Yeah, that's a Wrangler.
Yeah, so we see that the truck actually ran into the Jeep because they're in so much fear of the armored car coming down on them, I guess ramming them and finishing them off with the roof-mounted machine gun.
With the roof-mounted? Damn!
And then they start speeding out of the area as quickly as
and
they
can.
See the Mexican Army's armored car coming up behind.
Dumping on him. Probably still got him.
Aiming down the machine gun, chasing the cartel down the street, I suppose just firing bursts at them as they go.
I think the only reason it went this way, also by the way, is because the security forces happen to have the armored car. It didn't appear those two vehicles, the Jeep and what appeared to be maybe a Ford or like a Ranger or something, those didn't appear to be armored. So I think that's why they reacted like that.
I think that is definitely the case, and I think they also realized after they started to fire the vehicle that it didn't appear to be stopping, and it didn't appear that the engine block was taking any damage, say like visible smoke or anything like that, and then they might have realized it was an armored car. But you can hear that while the armored car is chasing them down, it's still laying down a couple of rounds onto those vehicles as it's chasing them through the streets. So, I mean, whether or not those guys made it out of there from the Mexican army, well, I'll leave that up to y'all's imagination. But it does seem that at the moment they were quite scared of the Mexican army's armored cars.
We've got a big deployment going on here. It looks like the Mexican forces have regrouped. I'm currently seeing a video coming out showing what appears to be another Black Hawk being deployed by the Mexican forces, armed with a minigun, and they are unleashing the minigun right now.
We over here with it?
CJ and G positions near Ectero La Desembocoda Road, which I'm mispronouncing like hell, but I gave it an attempt. But we're seeing this right now on the footage, which is crazy.
How to pronounce it right.
And really quickly, folks, we're actually now starting to hear that there's now an attempted siege of the city of Veracruz, which is a major port city just outside of the eastern regions of Mexico City along the east coast of the country, which we'll be getting to here in a moment. But where is that video that you were talking about there, Matthew, of the Black Hawk? Because I'm not seeing it.
Should be at the very top.
Here we are.
There it is.
It hadn't shown up yet. So here's our clip of the Black Hawk.
Damn. Damn.
And it appears to be firing a minigun down on the cartel.
Big gun.
I'm not going to lie, man. For everyone to be kind of doubting
That's
the
the only
Mexican
day
government
cartel
earlier on, I
made,
mean,
you
the
know?
Mexicans are kind of whipping out the firepower on the cartel right now.
They are, but the problem is, though, as far as we're aware, I'm not sure exactly what they have, but I think the cartels have ways to take down the Black Hawk, which is, we saw the bullet holes in the last image. They had shot up a Black Hawk, the last one that came through here. This is apparently a new one coming through to start firing the minigun. So we don't know exactly what type of air defense the cartel is working with. I don't think they have anything too crazy, like, for example, like Venezuela would have or something like that, but they obviously have small arms, and they could have possibly, man-portable systems, possibly,
but I would generally doubt it a little bit, considering that a lot of their prior weaponry in that video, even of their special forces, looked highly improvised. It's most likely that they probably don't have any shoulder-fired anti-air weaponry. We'll probably be finding out here soon. If they do have it, they will be firing it at the helicopters eventually, and one of them will go down, and that's when we'll find out. But I don't believe that they have any shoulder-fired weaponry, at least from what I would know. But once again, folks, the cartel does have a pretty significant global supply chain, and it is able to pull kind of anything from anywhere, so they might have been able to get their hands on a couple of man pads, but we'll have to generally wait and see on that. But we're going to continue this clip of this Black Hawk here that's laying down a pretty decent amount of rounds downrange onto what we are guessing are cartel forces on the ground below. And we see the helicopter once again flying fairly quickly as the gunner, I believe, is lining up possibly another target. Doesn't appear that he is. He actually appears that they're flying on out of the area. But moving us on from that, we're now going to be moving from the west coast of Mexico, where most of the incidents have been going on, and we're now going to be moving on over and into the area of the east coast, just east of Mexico City. We have been able to hear that apparently there's now an attempted siege ongoing of the city of Veracruz, and we are able to see a little bit of those developments happening here in this clip. I don't know what the orange emoji thing is for down here, but we'll find out.
I'll only show part of this video, by the way.
Is it graphic?
No, I'm not sure about the source.
Oh, okay. So we can hear firing going on outside, and really quickly to speed forward through it, we can actually see the cartel out there in the street, it seems, trying to enforce some form of blockade on some of the streets leading into Veracruz, which once again is starting to generally show us that they are trying some form of a blockade against Veracruz as well, and maybe trying to close it off to general egress and outgress points in and out of the city, like we've seen similarly within Puerto Vallarta and also Guadalajara at the moment. So right now we can confirm that there are road blockades going on in larger parts of the country, even including as far north as Sinaloa, near Mazatlan, which is in the southern part of the Sinaloa region. But we have not been able to confirm any larger developments or actions that have been happening close to the U.S. border or close to the border of Guatemala and Belize. We haven't seen any of that at the moment, but we are getting more breaking news coming out at this moment from central Mexico. And Matthew, what do we got?
Okay, so we cannot show this video on the air because it does appear to be filmed by possibly American tourist. Tourist location, if I can pronounce that properly, is currently one of the heaviest hit areas by the cartel forces right now. Currently hiding, but we cannot show the video, certainly not, because I'm sure there's some issues with that. In the distance, there are fires and arsons taking place all over this area. It's kind of surprising, too, because the cartels usually don't mess with the tourist areas, so clearly they are irate because they're currently messing with the area that typically is off limits for the cartel because it messes with the Mexican government. So we're currently seeing they're taking it to that level.
Also, Matthew, the town is Puerto Vallarta.
Vallarta.
Yeah, I'm gonna be butchering these names all day. I can't do the Spanish pronunciation
Vallarta.
very well, so the butchering is going to have to continue.
The butchering will continue, apparently, unfortunately. But beyond that, it does appear that we are seeing that there is still larger ashes that have been going on elsewhere within the area of the Jalisco state, which have happened prior, about an hour before we went on air, and we're going to be making sure to get you all into that as well. We have been able to see that down in the area of the city of Tizapan, which is just south of the Chapala Lake, we were able to see that there was a suspension of commercial activities within this area that was issued by the Mexican government. This is a Spanish to English translation of the post.
Gotta get out of town.
Off the English translation. Urgent statement, total suspension of commercial activities. To business owners, merchants, and the general public, in light of activation of Code Red and with a priority objective of guaranteeing the safety of the population in the face of the violence recorded in the region, the relevant authorities urge the immediate closure of all non-essential businesses, shops, and services from this moment until further notice. This measure is preventative in nature, determined by the State Security Council to safeguard the well-being of employees and customers. Business owners are urged to suspend operations in an orderly manner and proceed to immediate home confinement. We reiterate the call to the entire population not to remain in public spaces and to stay indoors in a safe place. You will be informed in due course what conditions are suitable for reopening. Thank you for your cooperation. That was the statement from the local government of the city of Tizapan in Jalisco, where we have been able to hear that there is some significant cartel activities going on there as well. But moving us on into the largest city that generally finds itself afflicted with this situation in the moment, we are going to be moving on into Guadalajara. Guadalajara is a fairly large city within this more so central and western part of Mexico. It actually has a fairly significant population as well. I believe it's somewhere up around 500,000 people or more or so that live within the city of Guadalajara, a fairly significant one to say the least. We have been able to see that within the city of Guadalajara, there has been a National Guard base on the outskirts that was directly attacked. You can actually see the National Guard vehicles of the Mexican National Guard absolutely trashed after the raid had been conducted by the Mexican cartel. And you can also see the absolute carnage and damage that was caused as well. And you can even see in these pictures that the Mexican National Guard appears to still be engaged in a firefight with the Jalisco cartel, pushing them back and away from the National Guard base after it has sustained significant damage from the raid. We also were able to see that it appears that the cartel forces were trying to burn gas stations within the city area, which we were able to see in this clip right here. And I'm just going to show you all general parts of the clip where you can see the cartel coming up. We can actually see that they've now brandished firearms at the gas station employees. Also, by the way, to point this out to many people, there is actually not self-served gas pumps in most parts of Mexico. It's actually serviced pumps by employees. So these are actually employees of the gas station. But before we get to the rest of this clip, we actually have more breaking news coming out at this moment right now. And Matthew, what do we got?
Okay, so I think we covered this a second ago, generally speaking, but we've gotten an image here apparently showing the state of Veracruz in Mexico, which is an entirely new spot, by the way. Apparently, there are now fires and arsons breaking out on the roadways in Veracruz. So it appears to be that it's expanding as of right now. So it looks like Sinaloa. We're also seeing Veracruz, definitely Jalisco,
and it's
on
the west coast and the east coast of Mexico.
Also getting overwhelmed by the situation, and it's expected to expand. Like, this is not expected to remain contained whatsoever. And we're currently seeing it happening here. We're also getting reports of the cartel hijacking oil trucks, these massive tandem oil truck situations that have like multiple vehicles that are attached to it. They're apparently hijacking
killed the leader.
And
now it's time to act a
here,
donkey.
They could be
probably following out orders.
With fuel or oil as some type of makeshift weapon. That could be a possibility as well. So we're not entirely sure, but it appears to be they're getting more extreme as time is going by against the Mexican government, which is pretty concerning.
Also, really quickly, we actually have a bit of a map to show y'all here of the cartels, because there is an ongoing theme and a trend here that most of the areas, and also, by the way, this is from 2024, this map has actually evolved, and the area that's in blue, which is the Jalisco New Generation cartel, has actually expanded its control quite significantly further north, as they've been winning a decent amount of battles against the Sinaloa cartel, which up until recently was basically the dominant and primary cartel of Mexico. But we can actually see that most of the areas where the chaos is currently unfolding, even including Veracruz
east and west,
which are south of Mexico City and also to the east, do appear to be under the direct control, at least in terms of land holdings, by the Jalisco New Generation cartel. So it seems
there's
as
a
though,
snowball all
we
over
can
the place.
that most of the activities that are going on right now, while they appear widespread nationally, most, if not all of them, are generally inside of the battlegrounds that the Jalisco and Sinaloa cartels are currently engaged in, or it is well within the control and parameters of what we would call the Jalisco cartel's reign of ground or territory within the central area of Mexico. So that seems to be what we're looking at right now, and that's why we're seeing that there is now an attempted siege on the port of Veracruz as well, which is just to the east of Mexico City, which is quite an interesting development to say the least, and once again showing us that the cartel generally knows no bounds, at least at this moment, on what type of damage they're willing to conduct, and they're willing to conduct as much damage as they possibly can in any amount of territory or zone that they are attempting to control. Moving us on.
So get this real quick. I'm currently getting reports that there might be a massive prison break that could be underway. Go check out Ixtapa. Is that an area close by to Jalisco? Because I'm not totally familiar with where that's at.
How do you spell that?
Yo, you want me to start a grab?
You might just type it in and see where it brings you to.
What?
Let's see here. Yeah, actually, it is in the Jalisco state, and it is right here. So, let's see.
Is there a prison? Is there a prison nearby to this area? Because I'm getting word that maybe the cartel might be trying to break people out of prison there and to let out some of their friends to help out. So let's see if that has any possible credibility to it.
Santo
Let me see if I
Domingo.
can pull this up. The Ixtapa
Santo
prison.
del Salud.
Let's see. So it does appear that there is a prison here, but unfortunately, I cannot find where that prison would be specifically on the ground for us to be able to find it really quickly. But there is a prison here. So let me see if I can try and find out where exactly that is. Because they actually are actively attacking that prison right now, by the way. That's actually confirmed from multiple sources at the moment. So it does appear that they're trying to attack the prison and break them out. But sadly... So I do have a picture of the outer wall of this prison, which you can see right
check
here.
it out. This little,
but once
they
again,
could blow that shit up with a
I don't know
bazooka.
exactly where this prison is.
Rakalancha.
The town of Ixtapa. This is named after the town. That suggests it's close nearby. But I cannot find it on Google satellite at the moment. So, oh, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
What is this? This is a school. Okay, that's not a prison. Let me see here. I can try and find this on air for us all really quickly because this will probably be... Oh, wait a minute. This is it right here. This is the prison at Ixtapa. Here it is.
Interesting. So if the reports are accurate, apparently there has been an ongoing attack on this prison. If the reports are accurate,
that thing boxed in.
Assault, of course, we have not gotten visual evidence of that. Then it
next
could
to
be
the
that maybe
woods,
they've
which is
broken
crazy.
people out of the prison at this point because people on the ground appear to be in the belief that people are escaping the prison as we speak.
Oh, that thing a throwback prison.
Possibly so. Maybe we'll have to find out. Now, also, by the way, as far as we're aware, many prisons in this region are apparently also heavily influenced by the cartel. So there are apparently gangs and things of that nature inside as well. So it wouldn't be too far-fetched to believe that, but we'll have to wait and get some footage.
We'll have to wait and get some footage, but this does appear to be the prison of which we speak. And let me put y'all down on the street here and give you a little bit of a better view.
Damn,
that is the prison. And geez,
looks like it could be a
Damn.
That looks like the salty spittoon of prisons if I've ever seen one. I mean, that place looks rough. Like, that one looks like if you go in there, you don't make it out the perimeter. Just to be entirely frank. But apparently they're breaking in and trying to take control of the area, as it appears that there's some loud vehicle outside. But anyways, with that in mind, it does appear that they're trying to break into this prison at the moment. Getting us back into this clip right here from the gas station in Guadalajara, we were able to see getting us right back to where we left
Running
off.
down on gas, young gas station agents, man.
And we can already see one of them putting their hands up right here. The gas station employees are then told to run away from the pumps, and it appears that this person here was actually trying to race away in their car, but the cartel is now holding them at gunpoint as well and forcing them to exit the vehicle. We now
What they about to do? Just pour gas all over the place?
Telling that person to get out of there.
Hell yeah, they're gonna blow up the gas stations.
And to pour gasoline onto the ground around the surrounding area. Apparently,
they don't give a fuck. Damn, nigga, you don't want to get back a little bit?
Lighter and then booking it out of the area.
God damn.
The gas station
This
is now
shit ghetto as hell.
So we fast forward a little bit. It appears that the fire largely started to die out. We can also see something venting some sort of liquid here. It doesn't appear to be gas, apparently. We now see the gas station employee coming back for a moment. And
I guess it must be some safety thing.
Without causing any major damage to the
Yo,
gas
they did how they do it a half-ass job of gas and throwing gasoline at a gas station.
even including
That
inside of
sounds
Guadalajara.
stupid.
We were able to hear of even further firefights that were happening inside of Guadalajara as well, which we were able to see in this clip.
Several.
We can hear the basic firefights breaking outside. This is in between the National Guard and the Jalisco cartels. And we see the employees just sitting inside and watching the firefight literally unfold, literally steps away right outside of their store.
And where is this at again? What location is this being filmed from?
Jalisco.
This is in central Guadalajara in the Jalisco state. So this is fairly close to where all this started off.
Jalisco.
Also, by the way, I do have another video real quick. We don't want to show too much of that clip, by the way. But jumping into our next one, we do have another video coming out of Tapalpa, which is apparently where El Mencho usually hung out, apparently. So it appears to be some heavy clashes in the street. We're seeing in this new video.
This is actually where he died. Like, this is where the raid happened.
Oh.
Yeah, this is where his compound's at.
Yeah, so let's take a look at this clip as well. And again, we can hear heavy firefights breaking out throughout the entirety of the town of Tapalpa. Fairly heavy firefights, that is. We can also see what appears to be some form of army or armored or armed vehicles, is the best way to describe them, here within the clip, but we can't tell if that's the cartel or the Mexican Army or the Mexican National Guard. Considering that they're blacked out, we would assume they're probably a part of the cartel. The heavy firefights are continuing. We can actually see a National Guard truck right here, and a couple of members of the National Guard running to and fro from the truck.
There's somebody racing by, too.
I'm not going to lie. I think this is the one time that I get why they're racing by. Like in Russia, when there's just a fire, I'm like, why are they racing by? This is an active firefight, so I'm like, I kind of get why they're trying to race by.
Dang.
Oh, damn. There they go.
Ooh.
Is that an armored truck flying in?
Let me see here. Might
like
be
a straight pipe on it, man. That thing's like got some
Right.
exhaust pipes on that thing.
Yeah.
It might actually be that's a solid black truck that looks like it might be affiliated with the cartel, because they usually
performance
have solid
muffler.
black vehicles, at least from what we've seen so far. So that might have been a cartel truck absolutely peeling into the firefight.
Into
Damn, they're really pulling up.
I mean, really. I mean, they honestly are. I mean, that's crazy right
crazy.
there. But with that, we
gangster.
are still watching the situation unfold at the moment, and it is quite a major one. But we've also
Yo,
been able to see,
imagine the amount of people on Fetty and meth.
Show yet. We also have been able to see that cartel actions have even reached as far north as Villa Union in Mazatlán.
Yo, just imagine the amount of soldiers on Fetty and meth.
Here. And it does appear that there was a road blockade that had been formed, and there's also fires that have broken out within the city itself.
The
Once
nigga
again,
driving
showing
that black
the
whip on that
Sinaloa-
Fetty and
sorry,
meth.
The Jalisco cartel had actually expanded its control up until this
Kamikaze.
point in this area, and it was also conducting as much mayhem and damage as it could here. We have been able to hear some statements from the U.S. government in the meantime, including the Deputy Secretary of State, which it appeared that, let's see here. Actually, it doesn't appear that I have the statement from the Joint Deputy of State or the Deputy Secretary of State at the moment, but they did state that it was a good thing to see that this action had happened, but I don't really think they understood at the moment that statement was made, the kind of chaos that was soon to unfold in Mexico as a result of the actions that did unfold. We have also
Should have kept that shit on the low.
A statement from the Embassy of Mexico in the U.S. I just reposted that.
That's
one.
not
I'm
possible.
trying to get the second one as well from the. Here we go. I just got the second one. Let me grab this and put it at the very top. Let me go grab it real quick, because we have two official statements so far. We have not heard from the President of the United States about the situation. He's been pretty much silent about it. We have not heard from Marco Rubio about it. They've been oddly silent. So I would assume they're monitoring the situation, and they're probably waiting to see how this plays out before making real statements about it.
And so here's the official statement of the Embassy of Mexico in the United States of America. From Mexico, Secretariat of National Defense of the Mexican operation resulting in the death of El Mencho. Through Central Military Intelligence efforts alongside the Mexican National Intelligence Center and the Attorney General's Office, FEMDO, Special Forces of the Mexican Army planned to execute an operation in Tapalpa, Jalisco. Various aircraft from the Mexican Air Force and the Special Immediate Reaction Force of the Mexican National Guard participated in this operation to achieve the arrest of Ruben alias for El Mencho. During this operation, Mexican military personnel were attacked, and in defense of their physical integrity, they repelled the aggression. This resulted in 4 members of the Jalisco Cartel criminal group dying at the scene and 3 others being severely wounded, who lost their lives during their airlift to Mexico City. Among the latter is Ruben N., alias Mencho. However, the corresponding authorities will be in charge of the forensic activities to confirm his identification. In addition, 2 other members of this criminal organization were arrested, and various weapons and armored vehicles were seized, including rocket launchers capable of shooting down aircraft and destroying armored vehicles. I would assume that those would be RPGs, RPG-7s specifically, because if they can destroy vehicles, that's not a Stinger. A Stinger could never do that. Unfortunately, during this military action, 3 members of the institution were wounded and likewise transferred to medical facilities in Mexico City for emergency medical care. In addition to military intelligence efforts, complementary information was provided by U.S. authorities within the framework of bilateral cooperation and coordination with the United States. At this time, elements of the Mexican National Guard and Mexican Army troops from the center of the country and states neighboring Jalisco are mobilizing to reinforce the security of the state. With these actions, the Secretariat of National Defense reaffirms its commitment, contributing to the strengthening of Mexico's security. Mexican Air Force, Army, and National Guard, the Great Force of Mexico. So that's the official statement from the Embassy of Mexico in the United States of America. We also have another statement from Christopher Landau, who is the current, I believe, the Deputy Secretary of State to the Office of the Secretary of State or the Department of State. I've just been informed that Mexican security forces have killed El Mencho, one of the bloodiest and most ruthless drug kingpins. This is a great development for Mexico, the U.S., Latin America, and the world. The good guys.
This dude talks about the New Jersey weather today, too.
That statement was also
I just got to go a little forward.
Spanish as well, so we can actually see that statement.
He talks about how the whole state's on emergency, and it's never been on emergency ever,
put out a fairly detailed,
except in like
a
couple years
summary of the events that happened that led to the death of El Mencho, and it also appears that Christopher Landau, which is the only higher-up government statement that we've gotten.
I'm sure they're going to get revenge on
because the U.S. companies that run the cruise ships are heavily involved in the operations of this island, and so we also got this clip, which I'm just going to show you all like some frames of from
military intervention to deal with this cartel uprising. 41% said yes, U.S. involvement is imminent, while 33% said no, Mexico will not request help, and 14%
Patrol would have a field day at that point, and maybe there would be some help from a National Guard at the state levels, and then maybe the military would come in once the
they don't know where to look, number one, and we do. Or number two, they're very slow about getting it. So they're usually too late by the time the information is old at that point. So we just gotten very good at streamlining how we funnel all the information together to present it on the stream. And that only came with experience over time. But unfortunately,
that's generally how it works. Over the years, we've gotten our sources a little bit more refined and honed. We've been able to get into contact with people around the world. It's been an interesting sort of a thing. And so with that, I hope that does address that well. And with that, folks, we're going to be moving on into this next super chat here.
And this one goes to Chick AD, who puts in a 5. He said, "Are you taking donations for Ukraine?" And 3-hour tour skipper from SS Minna.
I thank you for the support, Chickadee, but sadly, this is not a Sunday night fundraiser.
You should send them a super chat.
And also, we will not be running a Sunday night fundraiser tonight because of this stream, which generally is really kind of like running into the prep time for the other one, and also that would be wildly exhausting to do a second full-length stream on top of this, because we have to keep in mind, at least right now at the moment, that we have to prepare for the U.S. conducting a military operation against Iran, which is going to happen anytime over these next several weekdays, or it's going to happen on this upcoming weekend, and we really don't want to like go burning full of the throttle and burn ourselves out, so that way when the U.S. starts that, we're completely exhausted and have really no stamina to run the show. So we are only going to be running this show for today, but we will be doing another Sunday night fundraiser this upcoming Sunday after this one. But a big thanks to you so much for the support and helping the channel to keep on running. I hope that does address that well. And with that, we are on to the next one.
And with that, folks, that is actually the last of our live chat questions, actually, and our super chats. So we're pretty.
This morning, the Mexican Army located Nemesio Ceguera Cervantes, better known as El Mencho, the leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel in the municipality of Talpa de Allende. This is where he spends a lot of time and where he hides.
Big facts.
So this was one of the most significant
he got Versace
actions undertaken in the history of drug trafficking, because we're talking about someone that is almost at the same level as Chapo Guzman and El Mayo Zambada. He's one of the biggest drug capos in the history of drug trafficking around the globe.
One of the biggest
And his
capos.
cartel operated very much like a paramilitary force. And they operated in about 6 of the 7 continents around the world. But not only were they involved in cocaine, heroin trafficking, but they were also major players in the traffic of synthetic drugs, such as fentanyl, methamphetamine.
Meth.
They imported precursor chemicals not only from China, but also from India through the port of Las Cardenas in Michoacan. But they also diversified their criminal activity to include the penetration of the avocado industry, the lemon lime industry, the theft of lumber, penetration of the fishing industry.
Yo, they mafia'd up.
Involved in the theft of petroleum from Pemex pipelines.
That makes smart. That's smart, duh.
Mike, can you explain to me clearly? This was a Mexican-led operation, but what role did U.S. intelligence have in an operation, or what role does U.S. intelligence have typically in an operation such as this?
Sometimes they provide information. Excuse me. Sometimes we have law enforcement agencies that operate in Mexico, such as DEA, FBI, and others. And in Mexico, we have a huge apparatus of informants that we've been able to cultivate through decades. And sometimes they provide information. That information will now go to the Mexican authorities, and then they may act on that information. But in this case, I think the vast majority of the intelligence came from Mexico's security apparatus. And they did a magnificent job in executing the operation, because El Mencho had rings of security, literally an army of security that protected him. So I think that it was a combination of ground forces and then also supported by air support in the form of helicopters armed with high caliber machine guns, such as 50 caliber machine guns.
The response by the cartel has been violent. Can you talk about what we're seeing in Mexico right now?
Do you know what a 50 cal is?
Right now, we're seeing
through a house,
reprisals on the part of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel.
Property ripper.
They are burning buses. They're shutting down roads, not only in Jalisco, but Michoacan, Colima, Tamaulipas, Guanajuato, and then also Aguascalientes. And what they're trying to do is show that they are still a force to be reckoned with. That, this was not a lethal blow to them. So that's what they're trying to do, is show that they're still, in charge.
They're popping their collars, dog.
We've seen that operations at certain airports have been interrupted. Have you heard anything about that or know anything about that?
Yeah, there's some airports that have basically limited operations. Why? Because you'll recall on the second capture of Ovidio Guzman, the cartel went to, for example, to the airport in Culiacan and started shooting at commercial airlines landing at the airport. So they're afraid that they may attack commercial airliners and put people in jeopardy if they don't shut down the operation. So that's basically what they're doing. The magnitude of this event is worldwide. It reached, let me put it in another word. The magnitude of the killing of El Mencho is going to have worldwide impact because El Mencho was one of the biggest drug lords of all time and definitely much more violent.
You know that
than
fight on
Chapo
tonight, that
Guzman,
Clarissa fight, nigga.
than Mayo Zambada. So this sends a very
You know that,
strong
right?
message that the cartels in Mexico can no longer operate with impunity.
Yo, we gonna be in Discord watching that shit. They in there right now.
Complete,
What Discord?
you know,
Nigga, the one that you had the link to, man.
you know, in, let me say this. That
Yeah,
this
TMBR,
sends a
the one you went
message
in.
to the cartels
Ain't gonna be all that talking. It's gonna be because I see Hamp in there right now. Everybody, Mufasa in there,
violating
Foe in there. Niggas getting ready to watch that fight.
You know, I've been giving so
it's
many
already on.
interviews, my brother,
I know it's already on, probably.
But let me. This points to the fact, and that the Sinaloa cartel, the Jalisco New Generation cartel, and other powerful cartels that operate in Latin America can no longer operate with the impunity of the past.
Yeah, Trump in here fucking up shit.
You know, just violate at will, you know, the
Where do I click
on
on
the
it?
law, the, you know,
All
law
of a
and
sudden they
order,
want to stop the bodies.
and that they will be held accountable. And I have to congratulate Mexico, but because this was a very, very effective.
I don't know what I'm doing on this Discord shit.
Shit, what you mean? Just pop in? I ain't going there yet, but yeah, you just pop in.
I think I'm in the right place. This might be risky, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to go up in there and end this. I got all the information I need till something blow up, but it's something good. I know something's gonna blow up because they got fucking deadlines to run into. Well, they already ran into the airport, but like the cartel's putting deadlines on what they about to fuck up, running homes and all that. Most definitely, Bob. I'll have some info on this tomorrow as well, as I'll revert people to get up on this.